Hi guys. Let's talk about an IVF summary statement. So I have an article that I'm going to share with you, and you don't need to read it because we're just going to walk through that IVF summary statement because there's certain things that aren't going quite right with your particular summary statements. So IVF is identifying everything about the article, and then you give me one verb, and then you finish the thought with the central idea. So it's everything about the article first, the verb comes second, and then the central idea, finishing the thought, comes third. So I have an article for you here from Newsy It's very cool. It's called Quietest Place on Earth Finds Purpose in Healing Humans. So let me just show it to you what it looks like. Oh, it's going to make your car sick. So you can see this is the article on Newsy and that's the quietest room. It's a really small room. It's like 8 feet by 10 feet, and it's a room within a room, and they use it to test all kinds of things, materials like cell phones and medical stuff, and even as lately they're using it to heal humans. They're using it for like therapeutic uses, like people who have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, or autism, or other hypersensitivities that have increased over the last 25, 30 years. So anyway, it's kind of a cool idea. So we're going to start our IVF summary statement. So I gave you a piece of paper, and I want you to write this down. And after you write down this summary statement that looks beautiful, I want you to make sure your name's on it, and you're going to turn it into the basket. I'm not going to come to you and ask for it, so you're going to have to remember to turn it in, because I want to just make sure that we're all on the same page. The idea is that when you do your next IVF summary statement practice, that you have it down pat. Okay, so here we go. We're not going to start with in. We're just going to say the article. I'm going to even start it even fancier. So we have to have the I of IVF. You have to have everything that identifies the article. You have to have Newsy what the article is called, who wrote it, anything you know about the article, that's where you put it in its first, and there's no verb. So I'm going to start off with the article. No, I'm going to go back. I have my trusty eraser. I'm just going to say the Newsy article. So I did it like this. I have to write kind of small because did you notice that IVF summary statements are big? Because they're good. They're worth lots of points. So we have the Newsy article. And I'm going to put the author's name. So I already have Newsy, so that's done. Her name is Jenna Ross. Jenna Ross. And because it's her name, would you capitalize the J and the R? That would be perfect. Because part of summary writing is it has to be correct. By Jenna Ross. And then this article was written in a newspaper called the Star Tribune. And then the Newsy adapted it. They made it so middle school kids could read it. We don't need to include that because we've already said Newsy, so that will tell the reader that this has been adapted because it's on every article on Newsy is adapted. So now what we need to do is say what the article is called. So I'm going to say the Newsy article by Jenna Ross called, and now I'm going to start my quotations because articles always go in quotation marks. Books are underlined, and articles, presentations are quotation marks. So I have called, and I'm starting my quotation marks. Quietest place. Quietest. Quietest place on earth. Earth is capitalized because it's a proper noun. It's your home. I think so, unless you're extraterrestrial. Finds. You don't have to answer that. Purpose. In healing humans. Oops. So this is what I have for this is all the I's part. I have Newsy, I have the author, I have what the title of the article is. So notice no verbs. The isn't a verb, called isn't a verb here. So get this down. If you need to pause it ever, just pause it to get it all written down. Now I need a verb. And what this article does, it describes this room, this teeny tiny room. Well, I don't know if teeny tiny. Maybe you have a small bedroom. I've had a small bedroom and it was fine. It was easy to clean. Describes. So here is my verb. The verb part, the V, is probably the easiest part. So there it is. There's the V. So here we have the I, and now we have the V. Now I need to figure out the central idea. So the article says it's the quietest place on earth, and it finds purpose in healing humans. So we can talk about the central idea is going to be describes the small room and it's very cool. I mean, there's 12 inches of concrete that separate this room from anything. And those like shelvy things are fiberglass wedges. You go in there and it's so quiet you can hear your heart beat. It'd be kind of weird. So it's kind of cool. And it's Guinness Book of World Records, the quietest room. So, I want to talk about in the how it helps humans. So I just wandered there in a little bit because I was looking at the article. So this small room might help people. Might help people with post-traumatic You can always pause it. You can always pause it so you can see it. Stress disorder. Autism. And other hypersensitivities. T-I-V-I-T-I-E-S. Sensitivities. Wowzers. So get that down. So in this sentence, the first part is the entire I. You can't mix it up. And then second comes the verb. And then third comes the finish the thought, which is the central idea, what the article is about. And you can usually find what it's about in the first paragraph. But this particular article, I had to scroll down. I had to scroll down. It was in the second section of the article, so I had to dig for it. But look at the title, and that will give you a big hint what it's about. And then try to pull details, but you can paraphrase it. Don't use their exact words, because then you have to use quotation marks around it. And a summary is always paraphrasing. So once you get this whole sentence written down, the I, the V, and the F, I want you to toss this in the basket. And we're going to check your IVF skills. And then I hope yours isn't organized. I hope that you have capital first word. I hope you have end punctuation. I hope that you have the title written correctly. Because notice only the Q is capitalized. Earth is capitalized only because it's a proper noun. and everything else is lowercase, so it's exactly what I see on the screen. Or if I ever give you a paper article, it's exactly what's on the paper. And that's the beauty, is that you can always double check spelling, because it's probably in the article. It just means you have to look. So give it a try. Thanks so much.